Welcome to the next tutorial in electric circuit analysis. We were discussing the mesh analysis in tutorial 3rd, and in tutorial 4th we'll cover some questions related to super mesh analysis. So the first problem in super mesh analysis is to determine the current that is flowing through the resistor R3. Means what is the current flowing through resistor R3 which is of 3 ohms. So in this circuit we can see that there are 3 independent loops which forms 3 equations. So 3 loops will form 3 meshes and 3 meshes will lead to 3 independent equations. However, if we closely observe the circuit, then we can see that a current source is present between the mesh 1 and mesh 2, and we have learned in the lecture class that if a current source is present between any two meshes, then in that case we have to apply the super mesh concept to solve the problem. So in the super mesh analysis, we have to write the KVL equation combining the loop that are associated with the super mesh. So in this problem, the super mesh is combined by mesh 1 and 2. So we can write the KVL equation combining the mesh 1 and 2, and for the third mesh we can write a separate KVL equation, that is KVL 3. So one more equation will come due to the current source which will lead to the constraint equation. So this constraint equation is due to the current which is flowing in the mesh 1 and mesh 2. If we take the current flowing in all the meshes in the clockwise direction, then we can compute the values of the potential drop across each elements. So our final thing is that we have to determine the current that is flowing through resistor R3. So we can know that from here, since resistor R3 is common between the mesh 2 and 3, so taking the mod of the I2 minus I3 will be the current flowing in resistor R3, because we don't know whether the current in the mesh 2 is more or current in the mesh 3 is more. So let us see the solution in detail. So we have to write the KVL equation in super mesh combining 1 and third mesh. So we have taken this mesh as first mesh, and this one is third mesh, and this one is second mesh. So second mesh we can apply the mesh analysis in the mesh 2. We take all the current flowing in the mesh as the clockwise direction of the current. So considering the clockwise direction of the current, we can write 3 equations. So the first 2 equations will come from the KVL equation in the super mesh and the independent mesh. So super mesh combining 1 and 3 will lead to this equation, and mesh equation in loop 2 will give this equation. So we have 2 independent equations. Now the third equations, that is the constraint equation, we can get it from the source, that is the super mesh current. We have a 7 ampere current which is flowing between mesh 1 and 3, and the direction of the current is opposite in the two meshes. So we can write I1 minus I3 is equal to 7, because the direction of the current is in the downward direction. So we can give preference to I1 because I1 is also flowing in the downward direction. So we can have written these 3 equations, then we can solve the 3 equations in 3 variables to get the solutions of the 3 unknown variables I1, I2 and I3. So the current that is flowing in the resistor R3 is the final one that we need to determine. So here the current I2 is flowing, whereas this side we have the current I3 flowing. Then comparing the current 2 and 3, we find that I2 is more than I3. So we take I2 minus I3 is the current which is flowing across through the 3 ohm resistor. So it will give to us that 0.5 ampere is the current which is flowing through 3 ohm resistor. So this is the solution for problem number 1. Problem number 2, you have to determine the current that is flowing through the source V2. So we have the source V2 here. What is the current that is flowing through V2? So we can see that there are 3 meshes. So if I take this one as mesh 1, this one as mesh 2 and mesh 3. So 3 meshes are there. It means that we have to write 3 equations corresponding to the mesh analysis. However, a current source of 2 ampere is present between the mesh 2 and mesh 1, and a current source of 1 ampere is present between mesh 3 and mesh 2. So we can see that these two sources will lead to super mesh problem, and if we remove these two sources, then all these first mesh, second mesh and the third mesh will combine together to form a super mesh problem. So let us see the solution. So if we write the KVL equation in the super mesh combining the 3 meshes, so we can write the equation combining all the 3 meshes. So we can take this one as mesh 1, this one as mesh 2, and this one as mesh 3. So taking that convention, we can write the KVL equation. So here we have taken I3 minus I2 is equal to 2 ampere. It means that so we can change the mesh number depending upon the current whatever we have taken here. So this equation is the super mesh equation, which is the equation 1, and equation 2 and 3 are due to the constraint equation in the super mesh. So we have 3 equations in 3 variables, and we can get the solution for the loop current in the 3 meshes. So I1, I2 and I3 we can get it, and once we have got the I1 and I2 and I3, we can determine what is the potential that is flowing through the current that is flowing through the potential V2. So if we have taken the current, whatever we have taken the current here, so that current will be the potential current that is flowing through the potential V2. Problem third, here in this problem we have a dependent current source. So we can see there is a dependent current source whose magnitude is 4.3 times the ID current, where ID current is the current which is flowing through resistor R4. Then we have to determine the individual current through the elements IA, IB, IC, ID and IE. So this is basically a 3 mesh problem. So we can take 3 variables I1, I2 and I3, which are the mesh currents, and solving 3 equations in 3 variables, we can find out the unknown variables that we need to find. However, from here mesh 1 and mesh 3 we can combine by removing this current source from the circuit, because it leads to a formation of super mesh. So we have to write the equations 1, 2 and 3 corresponding to super mesh, one loop equation and one constraint equation. So these two meshes we can combine to write a super mesh 1 KVL equation, which is in the super mesh, by removing this current source, and then one equation we can write it for this independent loop, and one constraint equation we can write for the source that is flowing 4.3 times ID. Then we have 3 equations in 3 variables. So our variables are basically I1, I2 and I3, which are the currents that is flowing in the meshes. So after solving these variables, we will get the solution I1, I2 and I3. And once we have got I1, I2 and I3, the individual current that is flowing through each element we can determine from the mesh current. So one current which is at the boundary, that is will be equal to the mesh current, but with a different in the sign convention depending upon what sign we have taken, whether we have taken the clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. This solution has been given for the clockwise direction of the current, and then we can find all these variable current through the individual elements. Problem fourth. So we have basically 4 mesh problem here. So we have 4 meshes, and we can see that there is a 3 ampere independent current source which is common between mesh 1 and mesh 2. So that lead to a super mesh problem, and there is one more current source which is a dependent current source, but it is at the boundary, so it is not forming any super mesh, and we can take the current which is flowing in this mesh to be directly equal to Vx by 8. Then we have to write the combined equation for mesh 1 and 2, and mesh 3 and 4 we can write independent equations to determine the variable Vx and Ix, where Vx is the potential drop across the 6 ohm resistor and Ix is the current which is flowing through 6 ohm resistor. Now the potential direction is given positive here and negative here, so we have to determine the potential following the sign convention. So the solution, let us see it. So the these two mesh will be combined together to form a super mesh problem, and we have to remove this 3 ampere current source when we are writing the super mesh. So if we take this one as I1 and this one as I2, so we can combine I1 and I2 equations to form a super mesh, and I3 equations will come from this loop and I4 equation will come from this loop. However, I4 we can see that it is equal to Vx by 8 because that is for flowing at the boundary. So we have to form one constraint equation at 3 ampere, which is the current between the two meshes, and then we can write all the equations of KVL and the constraint equations. So once we have written the KVL equation and the constraint equation and the potential drop, so Vx is basically 6 times I1 because I1 is the current flowing in that mesh. And we can also see that I4 is equal to Vx by 8 because it is at the boundary. So we have written all the equations that are related to the circuit, and once we solve it, we will be getting the loop or the mesh equations, current I1, I2, I3 and I4. Once we have got I1, I2, I3 and I4, it will be easy to determine Ix and Vx because Ix and Vx are dependent on the current that is flowing in the mesh. So this is the solution number 4. Problem 5th is a very simple problem where we have to determine the current in both the resistors. So there are two loops that we have, and there is a current source which is common between the two loops that lead to a super mesh problem. So super mesh problem will have a KVL equation combining 1 and 2, and the current that is flowing here will lead to a constraint equation. So we'll be writing the two equations. So equation number 1 is the KVL equation combining the mesh 1 and 2, and second is the constraint equation which is leading to the mesh current of 2 ampere. So we have two equations in two variables, so I1, I2 being the two variables. We can easily solve that and try to find the values of I1 and I2. Once we have found the I1 and I2, we can easily find out what is the current flowing through the resistors. Now problem 6th, here we have 3 mesh problem. So we have 3 meshes with a current source which is present between mesh 2 and 3, so that will lead to a super mesh problem. So super mesh problem is there, and we have to determine the power of the sources. So we have to determine the power. Power means we have to determine the voltage into current. So when we determine the current what is flowing through this Is, so power of the source will be Vs into the current Is which is flowing here. However, since we have to determine the power of the current source, we can apply the KVL equation in this loop to determine what is the voltage at this terminal. So once we have got the voltage at this terminal, we can multiply with the current that is flowing in the mesh to get the power. So let us see the solution. So we have 3 mesh problem 1, 2 and 3, and we can combine 2 and 3 to lead to the super mesh problem, and one is independent. So we have to write two KVL equation from the mesh and super mesh problem, and one equation will come from the constraint equation due to the current source. So these are the 3 equations that we need to write. Once we substitute the value of the parameters, we will get the currents I1, I2 and I3. Once we have got the value of the current, the power in this voltage source is basically the product of voltage into current, and we have a negative sign because it is an active source where current is coming out of the source, so we have a negative sign of 49.2 watt. Now we need to determine the potential at these two terminals in order to determine the power. So first we have to determine the potential using the KVL equation, and then after we have got the voltage of the terminal, we can determine the power by the product of voltage into current, that will give to 31.36 watt with a negative sign. So we can see that both power is negative, that indicates that this is a active source. So active source power will be always negative. We have taught you in the lecture class. So problem 7th, we have to determine the current I1 to I4 using mesh analysis. So there are 4 mesh problem, and there is a 5 ampere source which is common between mesh 1 and 2, so that lead to a super mesh problem, and 3 I0 which is a dependent current source common between mesh 2 and 3. So we can combine mesh 1, mesh 2 and mesh 3 to form a super mesh problem. So KVL equation of a super mesh, and there is a KVL equation here which is an independent mesh problem. So once we have written the equations of mesh 1 and 2 leading to the super mesh problem, mesh 2 and 3 leading to the super mesh problem. So mesh 1 and 2 we have an independent source in common, mesh 2 and 3 have a dependent source in common. So the two super mesh intersect to form a large super mesh. So we can remove this source of the independent source, we can remove this dependent source, and these three meshes we can combine to write the equation of the KVL. So apply KVL in the larger super mesh, and then we can have one equation which is combining the equation of the current of the mesh 1, 2 and 3. And then we will be having the KCL equation in the node P, which is the node here. Here we can apply the KCL equation, which is the current due to this source of 5 ampere. So once we have applied that, we can apply the node Q, which is due to this current source and this current source, which are the constraint equation forming as we have it done in the previous problem. So we have two constraint equation and we have two KVL equation which are due to super mesh and the mesh problem. So basically this is the mesh fourth, which KVL equation we have written here, and then we have all these equations, four set of equations that we need to find to get the variables I1 to I4. So we have the function of I1, I2, I3 and I4, which are leading to the formation of four equations. So four equations in four variables, we can get the solutions I1 to I4. So once we have got the value of I1 and I4, we can determine the power or the voltage across each particular element. So we have covered the super mesh problem. So both tutorial 3 and tutorial 4 in a combined way we should learn to understand the mesh problem and the super mesh problem. In the next tutorial we'll cover the nodal analysis and the super nodal analysis. Thank you for now. See you in the next lecture.